throughout the whole year that who did so and so have as a teacher last year, and I'll have this data. Or I can kind of group students that they identify. It's kind of like a little bit of self-reflection with reading or with grammar. You kind of group them for different activities with that. One drawback, and I think we kind of touched upon this for an overarching idea of technology, is that it's hard for equations. So math, science might be a little bit difficult. If we all use Google Forms, or if we use Google Docs, Google Presentations are easy to collaborate on. Google Forms are a little bit more challenging. So I've had people that if I create a Google form specific to my class, and then Matt's like, oh, this is a great one, and he uses it, then both of our data is going to be in the same area. So that's just one thing to keep an eye out for. You just might need to make a copy of it and then title it Johnson Student Inventory or something like that. Okay. Questions on this? You guys seem like the experts on this already. But this is like, again, if there's some teachers who are a little reluctant or just overwhelmed by learning a new type of technology, this is a simple and easy one for them to use. Awesome.
Okay, last one is mine. I'm going to talk about No Red Ink. Do any English teachers know about this one? Okay, a couple. I don't know how many English teachers are even in here. But so No Red Ink is very specific, obviously, to English or grammar reading skills. It talks about, or it gives you reading and grammar exercises. But the cool thing about it is that it's designed by student interest. So it's similar to the other programs that you'll have a class code that you'll send out, and then everybody will be in that one classroom once they join. That way you can select specific students that you want to target, or the entire class if you want to do it that way. When the students sign up, there's like a 5 to 10 minute process of them just going through and selecting their interests. So there's a ton of different categories. Some are just TV shows, games, movie stars, sports, book characters, and there's way more than that. Like I usually have to cut my students off and be like, okay, stop selecting your favorites. So then what it does is that each sentence that they're working through is designed to be about what their favorite things are, so that they're not reading a sentence that's like not boring or that's boring to them. Their sentences might be about hockey or baseball or something, so it's a little bit more interesting that way. They can also put like your name or their friends' names in it, which is really cool. It's a really good way of giving students practice after instruction. It's something that I really wanted to highlight because it's definitely not a teaching tool. It's very specific about talking about, like, for instance, if you're teaching conjunctive adverbs, like a student wouldn't be able to just jump in and like teach themselves something like that. Definitely something is like a follow-up tool rather than just sort of like sending them off to maybe do like a pre-test or something. That would be really hard, I think, for them to get through. Like the other ones, the website saves the data for the students and for the teachers so that they understand what they've gotten wrong, and then we can also see if they've completed the module or not. If a skill is consistently missed, I think this part is really cool. It pauses where you're at, and then it shows you a tutorial of how to go through that skill. So it's sort of like built-in learning at the same time, but more of like a review again. Which is good if students are struggling with different things. It differentiates it for them. Modules can be assigned in a personalized fashion by class or student. I said that already. And then the teachers receive the website-generated reports to monitor progress so that they can move on or reteach. I'm not going to show you because I'm sure that most of us, like I said, are not English, but this is just what the site looks like. This is like all my different classrooms. Then you can just go through and assign work. And then you can choose, and it gets really specific if you want to do like a practice one or a quiz, select content, and then it's like every English topic you could ever imagine is over here, and it even gets more specific if you like click one. So it's really good about getting specific about very tedious grammar exercises that they might need more practice with. I think that's it. Any questions on that one? Yeah.
Is there grade levels on that? Does it? I mean, you said it makes.
There is, yes, yeah. There are grade levels
How
for it.
low does it go?
Yeah.
That I'm not sure. Do you know?
I think it goes. I think it's like first grade.
Okay. Yeah.
6th grade works.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Other questions? Okay.
There you go.
All right, so we were thinking about having some time for you guys to like try something out, but we thought in the interest of time, it might be best to share this presentation with you on your own time at some point, kind of come through these and think, hey, can I take one thing away? Like one thing we talked about in our group was like every PD session you go to, especially where they overwhelm you with 5 tools like that, you just want to walk away with like one little thing you can be like, okay, maybe once. Like Rachel's like, hey, that looks cool. Maybe I'll like hang on to that, and that's it. You know, the rest of the stuff cool, but I just don't want to wrap my head around that. We know that. So just be thinking about any of that just stuck with you a little bit, like just try and hang on to it. Some pretty cool tools out there. I by no means use all of those all the time at all, and I like to say like that I use technology as much as possible.
And I feel like we tend to gravitate towards the ones that we are more comfortable with because it's easier and it saves time. But maybe it's the summer and you have some time, extra time. I mean, we're all in grad school, but who knows what extra time is. But if you do have any extra time, it is cool to kind of explore it. I've gone down the rabbit hole of trying to look at all sorts of different ones and creating these different accounts. I have like 30 different accounts, and I've realized, that one doesn't work for me. I'm not even going to do it. And then I get emails about it all the time. So we all have had those. You know, there's some different options. These are just 5 of thousands that we can use. All right, so lastly, a little questions for.
We thought we kind of handle these as a group also, rather than kind of hear from each of us on every question. So as far as the 4 of us teach at the same school, all 5 of us teach in the same towns. We have a lot of the same students. And we're all high school teachers as well, or student population, I should say. So it's just we're going to give you a couple ideas on like relevance to our school setting. Like obviously it is because we just showed you 5 tools that we use in our school all the time, right? So quite relevant.
So Mark was kind of touching upon this, that he said that he's constantly encouraged to use technology in his classroom, and I know the 4 of us at York are encouraged to use that.
Yeah.
And how many people are encouraged to use technology in the classroom? So this is kind of very relevant for us that we all are encouraged. It can make your life a lot simpler if you choose the right tool. So this topic is great for collecting data. It is great for collecting efficient data and kind of sorting data.